In the Light of Reverence has had a huge impact and has been used in just all levels of schools, you know, from middle school through high school and universities. And maybe the most heartening thing is that when Native American professors tell me about their experience, that, you know, I often hear, I use your film in every class I do, or I show your film every quarter. It generates the most interesting discussions. It gets students thinking. It gets them, you know, remembering important moments in their lives. It just sparks really great dialogue.
Education has fallen short of recognizing the importance of spirit in our life. And because of that, we live a life without spiritual foundation.
Our history, the history that's taught in the school systems, does not. It has I haven't seen. You know, from my experience, I haven't seen anything in there that relates to the value of these sacred sites. I think that, again, media is a good way of, you know, imparting knowledge that isn't being, you know, because a lot of times what's being taught in the formal institutions of education are Eurocentric. When you have a film that is, you know, it's the voice of the indigenous people, then I believe that it carries a lot more weight.
I worry about our children and how oriented they are towards technology, and I think that by introducing messages of conservation and of honoring sacred spaces and just honoring what is sacred to every individual through film.
The most powerful example of how human beings can grow and transform as ourselves. We are the curriculum. We are the curriculum. Videos are a reflection of us.
I think out of all the films and out of everything that speaks the loudest to me is that we do have the power to say that this is enough, that we're not going to let any more happen.
In the Light of Reverence, there's one particular story that I've been working on for 30 years, which is Peabody Coal Company using underground water in the desert where the Hopi and Navajo live to slurry coal 270 miles to a power plant. And I first started working with the Hopi because they considered that to be a desecration of the water that sustains their villages. It's underground water. It comes out in springs, and Peabody's attitude was, it's out of sight, it's out of mind, it's far away from the springs. How could anybody ever prove that by sucking millions of gallons of water and wasting it and just pumping it away, how can anybody prove that that's going to maybe kill their villages where they've lived for 1,000 years? So we were working to stop the slurry line. And we made In the Light of Reverence a part of an educational campaign that was part of a political campaign to just support the Hopi who were saying this should stop. And a couple of years ago, as a result of lots of, you know, it's hard to know what's the cause and effect, but we put In the Light of Reverence into the middle of this argument, this environmental argument about whether it was appropriate to use water to slurry coal. And within about 4 years of the release of In the Light of Reverence, that slurry line was shut down after 25 years of environmental protest. Gary Nabhan, who's a professor at Northern Arizona University, he said to me, you know, I think that In the Light of Reverence both reflected and also caused the tipping point. And the thing about films is that you have individuals watch the films and then they feel motivated to do something. So the other thing that we need to do when you finish a film is provide ideas and suggestions for people to take action.
Well, the beginning of any action is awareness. And I think that using the films, it leads people to dialogue. And I don't have any evidence of, of actions they've taken, but I'm a firm believer in the fact that people can, if they're moved to act, they will act.
We have many people who have come out of these screenings, and for women elders who feel empowered, they form grandmother councils and they start becoming activists in their communities. But I think it's awakening ourselves, and which is what I think the grandmothers do, and then acting on it.
I think those movies really made me feel that as one individual I'm not powerless, that I can make things, I can change things.
It motivated me to become more knowledgeable about the community that I live in. The one fellow in the film said, well, we're too busy to work. We're too busy harvesting. We're too busy learning to live with the land and off the land and teaching our children how to live sustainably. And that really hit home to me. And so the way that it gave me hope is in really honoring a whole different way of measuring quality of life.
What we're all talking about is it's like a basic call to consciousness. To become conscious about the basics of our life on this earth.
Hopefully over the years you see that consciousness change, and the film will be a reflection of it, because I'm a product of that, but also the film will help cause that kind of level of respect growing in the culture.
Because I think the more of us, the more awareness, the more that we see that, the more times that we're reminded, maybe eventually enough people will step away and things can change.
If you feel inspired and hopeful from what you've seen of them, that you go out and you do the work.
I really hope that these films, the words that are shared, the knowledge that's shared through these films, will really touch the heart, the mind, the spirit of the people who see them.
The way that these women, these grandmothers, got together through this common vision gave me hope. Overall reaction, I'd say, was hope and inspiration. At the end of the film, I had at that time really been stressing out about the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, and so I was like, well, why not ask for this? Like, we're all together, we all just came through this experience of watching this film together. Can we not pray together now?
We can all look at the news tomorrow and see if there was any break. I think that's a good place to close.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
I've been feeling in my life lately just all the things that are going on in the news, the oil spill, that I'm kind of hopeless and a bit afraid of what's going to happen in the future. I mean, you hear of all these prophecies of things like 2012 and the end of our days, and I think I'm a bit scared at times.
We did a group prayer for the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico as an audience, as a big group after watching that movie, and the next day was when they placed that pipe inside of it, absorbing like a third of it or whatever, whether we had an impact on that or not.
I think everyone that was there throughout the week felt that way. They felt hopeful. I feel hopeful, and it was like a collective hope. It was like everyone kind of was holding their breath, and then it's like, you exhale.
The people, when the film is over, they all start shaking hands, hugging each other, people they haven't met before, They start talking, and they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. This energy is so good that comes there in that theater or wherever they're showing the movie. That's what I've seen.
There are a lot of films being made right now, and about 2012 and disaster and the doom and gloom of it all. And although that is very serious, that we wake up to all of those things that are happening and have been happening for some time now. In our film, we hope to inspire hope, to be able to capture a new mythology, to give birth to new visions for the possibility of 2013.
I hear the birth cries of a new emerging everywhere. Just like when you look in the springtime, when you see this coming up everywhere. It's happening. And at the core of it is going to be sharing our stories.
Our elders today have allowed us to film as much as possible to capture the gatherings, the teachings, and parts of the ceremony. Like a gathering such as this that we're engaged in is a ceremony. Because what you see reflected in the gathering are the songs of our people, as you're hearing right now. And these songs are used to invoke the spirit, to bring the presence within this physical reality that we're living. And the medium of film can be a tool that can help relay this message to as much of the human family as possible. If we look at the beauty of what is happening in this gathering, and if filming can capture a part of that, then that is okay. That we encourage that medium to join us in this effort of trying to share a message that is coming from the indigenous people. The elders are saying to all of us there is an absolute urgency right now to be able to bring a message that would inspire the hearts of man to consider his and her behavior and the way that we're treating life, the way we're treating the earth.